everybody, I'm back today with Roxanne for another video. You may have seen a couple of our videos in the past, so we are going to try to do these somewhat regularly as our schedule allows. I'm also going to be continuing to work with Jennifer on videos, so it's really been fun coming together to collaborate on channeling information for all of you during your ascension and your awakening journey. And then, of course, I will continue to offer my energy updates and videos as I see fit. So thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate those of you who have been here for almost every video. And then those of you who are new, thank you so much for joining me. I'm Carolyn, I'm a channel, I'm a distance energy healer, and I'm a spiritual awakening mentor. And I offer all of these channeled messages for your help along your awakening, ascension, and life journey. So what I always tell everybody is take what resonates with you and toss the rest aside, because what we're here to do is create the story of our own journey, and whatever resonates, the puzzle pieces that you might receive from this video for your own journey, take those and, like I said, put them into your puzzle and then toss the rest aside if it doesn't resonate. So hopefully you'll enjoy this message today. And if you'd like, below in the description box there's a link for a free video on how to create flow in your body for health and wellness. Click that, and then what it does is it sends you over to my email list. My email list is primarily used to send you a weekly message every Friday for the week coming up, to assist you on your journey forward, to encourage you, to give you something to think about. So the light keepers bring in a poetic message, which I then make some commentary on, and you receive that in an email every Friday. So hopefully you'll join me there too for more free content. So today, for Roxanne and myself, here are some of the things that we're going to cover. We start off talking about the 144. Some of you may know about the idea of the 144,000 light workers, okay? So we're going to cover that today. We're going to talk about that. We bring through various channeled information to help us unravel that story. But within that, we're going to cover some other pieces as well. So we're going to talk about, and it's all connected, we're going to talk about the 12-strand DNA, as I mentioned, the 144 light workers, 144,000 light workers. And you might know that's referenced in religious text as well. And then we're going to talk about how that opens the door. The 144 opens the door. You're going to see how that comes through. And we're going to tell you a little bit more about that. We're also going to talk about activating the crystalline grid. Again, this all ties together. 0-point energy, how vibration is key. Most of you know that, but we're going to talk about how that fits in here. We're also going to get into September through December, and it's all tied into this video and this idea of the 144,000. How September through December for the collective is like a stair-step, and I've talked about that in my energy updates, but we're going to cover some of that as well, and Roxanne brings in through some information too. We're going to talk also about how this is a very much a heart-opening time. Remember, this is all about the heart opening up to the greater love, but it's the inside journey, and then it's the external offering of that to the collective in many, many different ways. But also, one thing we cover, which is really neat, is telepathic communication is going to start to heat up. And I think we've all kind of noticed this they just said in fits and starts. So in fits and starts. So anyway, all this ties together, and we have a really robust conversation around this. I think you're going to enjoy this. Again, Roxanne's from Awakening Education. You can find her information below, so you can visit their Awakening Education website. Roxy and Pete have their own business, and it's pretty neat what they do day to day to help us out on this ascension journey. So check out their website too. Also, I have my information below in the description box where you can see Purple Rain Healing and all of my services, and I'll make a quick comment about that at the end. So I'm going to just send you right over to the video of Roxanne and myself. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll wrap up with you in the end.
Hey everyone, it's Roxy and Caroline here today again. Welcome, 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 Caroline.
Thank you for having me again today. Appreciate it. It's been fun.
Yeah, we're so excited to chat again, because we are just opening up ourselves to the divine and to the divine messages that come in. We're going to start to do these sessions a bit more regularly and pick a topic. And what's been coming to me in the last couple of days is the number 144. And even to the point, every hour I look at the clock and it's like 244, 344, and the numbers are 44. And it's the message is around the light workers and the mission coming to Earth. So we're going to open up the topic and the energy here today and discuss the mission and the light workers. And if you're listening to this, you're probably a light worker, which is amazing. So welcome. And we could maybe talk through what a light worker is, explain that, and then go into a little bit more detail. Hey, Caroline?
Yeah, that sounds fantastic. And just a real quick note for people who aren't familiar with me is I pretty much channel regularly. So what I'll say is, ooh, I'm hearing, or oh, they're saying, or hold on, Roxanne, I need to say something. And so it'll flow through and I'll share that. But I am getting it from the Light Keepers are a group that I channel, and they typically provide this information for this kind of channeling that I do. So
yeah, beautiful.
Can I share with you? I already got something on the 144. The first time you mentioned it to me about it being an idea to talk about, I heard the words being activated to a higher calling. Now, there's something, I think it has a lot to do with what we've been through this summer since the eclipses, and then also running through these past months, as well as the energies we've had coming off of Lionsgate. Anyway, I'll just leave it at that. I don't know if you want to follow the thread of that, but I'm being activated to a higher calling, like elevated to a higher calling.
Beautiful. Yeah. At the elevation, these numbers have been coming into me since the Lionsgate portal started to open. And I started to notice a shift within myself as well. A couple of days ago, I saw the vision in deep meditation travel of all of us light workers as souls in a big huddle or in a big circle, and it was like up around the great central sun, and in the center was a hologram of the earth, and we were huddling around it discussing the mission. And this was prior to coming to Earth, and I got chills right now, oh my god. And there was an army of us, and the number 144,000 is said to be the army. And what happened in the hustle, I remember seeing Pete going through this portal and going off before me to the Earth experience. And I was like, oh my God, he's gone. Oh my God, we're doing this. Oh my God, oh my God. And it was like so real. So I got shown what we did as a soul before we incarnated into this lifetime. Pretty incredible.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So they kept talking about it. It feels like as you're talking about that, I'm seeing, I mean, it seems hard to think you would see all of them coming in, because ultimately what I'm getting to is that we've all come in at this roughly the same time. Does that make sense for you? The 144, like, oh, I just heard dropped in, and they said what you were seeing also was kind of this planning of the next steps. I think what was happening with what I'm getting is a visual and an understanding. What was happening with Pete, okay, they just said wave upon wave. Okay, so they're showing like they would just kind of leave the meeting, okay, and like all of a sudden, because I'm seeing Pete leave, all of a sudden he's leaving, and there's like a group that goes, and then another group that goes, and that does that make sense?
I got chills. I got chills.
So do I. Oh my God.
So what I was just getting was we had a DNA piece. When we would see the 144 number, it would activate something, and this memory would come back. It's like in, you know, a tribe, you'd get like a
tattoo.
Yes. Oh my God, I got chills from head to toe.
I just got tattooed. I just got tattooed, and they're showing it like here. Yes. Okay, so they give lots of metaphors to me. I'm just going to share a metaphor. And the only reason they're doing this is to give you some validation. Have you watched Stranger Things?
No, not yet. No.
Okay. Well, anyway, anybody's watching it, the tattoos of their name, their number. So these kids are magical off the charts, right? But they're kept in a secret place, and they're given numbers, but they're like off the charts, and they're here to, in many cases, help at least one save the world. So wow. I'm just telling you. So they just brought Stranger Things in. I get Stranger Things oftentimes as a metaphor. So I just wanted to share that.
Well, for me to get that, and I haven't seen Stranger Things, is awesome, because it's same. It's a synchronicity, and I haven't seen it before. Do you know what I mean? But this was so profound. When I look around in this, like, it's kind of like this. It's like the great central sun. It's a portal place that has access to all the universe and this solar system. And I'm seeing this great amount of souls in a circle, like a stadium. and we get our chance to go down to this hologram and send it love and energy before we exit through the portal to incarnate into this experience. It's so like crazy that I'm getting the memory, don't you reckon?
Oh yeah, it's really interesting that you are. And what I'm coming is starting to make me wonder if I'm starting to have the memory too, but I get a visualization of it, which is really interesting. So I'm getting, okay, I'm just going to share what I'm getting, okay, on this fun little thing, and then we can move on with the 144. But what I was getting is you stayed behind. I get for education purposes. I'm getting you as they keep saying one of the educators of the 144, like helping. Okay, they just said helping chart their destiny, helping map their destiny, helping them. Well, they just said, see, okay, they're talking about memories. If there's something to do with you at helping educate those who are ready to come in and actually activate or be activated by the awakening, but there was something you were teaching them that they would then awaken to, they just said.
Because
Okay,
it's almost like I'm like, okay, guys, you ready? Let's go. Your turn. And, you know, I've prepped them and then I'm moving them through. But then I'm like jumping down the slide, down the fun ride to go as well. It's kind of like, you know, yeah, it's like Avatar where they jump in the bed and it's like, okay, the nurse or the doctor goes in the experience, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Not saying
so
that there's a few of us around the globe though. There's, you know.
Yes, another movie you might enjoy that they keep bringing to me is Soul, Soul. Have you seen that animated movie? Yeah. You know how they jump into their little portal and then they incarnate? Yeah. That's kind of that visual I'm getting, but yeah, absolutely. So do we want to talk more about the 144, what that means, anything else you wanted to carry on with that?
I get the feeling that 144, just the letters without the zeros, is going to activate souls. So I wonder if we should start putting 144 around the place on social media platforms to start triggering the souls. And if because it's like an activator, I feel.
That's because you're saying exactly right. Yeah, because I said the very first thing I got was being activated to a higher calling. It's like, oh, I just heard the words go time. Okay, what does that mean though? I mean, go time. I'm
also getting that it's helping activate the 12th strand of DNA.
Oh. You know what? This kind of makes sense. And I'll just use my very quick personal circumstance. In the last 2 months, I don't know, I have shifted and changed so much. I can tell by what's happening within sessions. There's something that has shifted pretty dramatically. And you know how this journey is, it's kind of gradual. You kind of like, you're shifting and changing and your gifts are shifting and changing there. And yet at the same time, it's not dramatic. Does that make sense? It feels dramatic, but it's gradual. But at the same time, I have shifted and changed so much in 2 months, but they're talking about being activated to a higher calling, but they're also talking about these energies we're in. And I think Lionsgate and August energies have a lot to do with this. So the DNA, did you say, is being activated? You said?
Yes. It's like
the memory. I just heard the memory.
The 12th, it's not online yet, but I can see if there's a strip of DNA, it's like just a little tiny bit at the bottom starting to like flicker, like a light bulb, flickering on. That's what I'm seeing.
Okay, they just showed. I don't know. It's like you've seen those things where the lights go and the colors. That's what I'm getting, and it's actually okay. Here's what it's doing. Oh my God, they're saying it's charging up. You know how something charges up and it goes. The lights go, and then this becomes solid. This is solid. This is solid. So we're doing this thing right now. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. I had gotten something else too. What did they say? Activated to a higher calling. I don't know. It'll come back if it's important.
Almost like the soul star is connected to the DNA, the 12th strand of DNA is what I'm seeing. And because our hearts are open, we're able to acknowledge and turn on these battery lights, if that makes sense. It's like everything's kind of like flicking on.
Yes.
But it's not going to be like overnight supernatural abilities. It's going to be gradual. And the date keeps coming to me the 9th of the 9th. So the 9th of September. And I'm like, what is this?
Oh, that's interesting.
Because 9/9 and then 2000.
Okay, they just said, okay, thank you. They just said portal gateway. And before you said 9/9, they said portal gateway. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And then I'm like, oh, 9/9. You said 9/9.
Yeah.
Portal gateway. Okay. Okay. They just said to me, sorry, I get all excited and get tons of energy when I get information. They just said to me, it's another stair step. All right. They have been showing me in my energy updates that we're just stair stepping. Yeah. We're stair stepping as we grow. And now they're saying that this is part of the stair step. I wonder if our 8/8s, 9/9s, 10/10s, 11/11s, you know, those are our stair steps. I'm starting to think they are.
So on the stair step, where are we standing then? Is it like 3/4 of the way up? Because that's what
I think what they're talking about is the continued activations and growth. Yeah, okay. Right. What they're showing me though with the okay, they just we're kind of talking outside the they're talking in general, but the light workers, basically what they're talking about, the DNA activation part, they just said each in their own time. So it's not everybody all at once. To your point, they're also indicating, they're validating what you're saying is you're not going to wake up in the morning and all your intuitive gifts are going to open up. Because if you think about like you and me, we are considered fast trackers because we were meant to have these businesses to help support people in this journey, right? Well, it's still, I was 2016, it's 2022. My gifts are still growing. I mean, they came online fast, but they continue to grow just like yours have, right?
Yeah, the more healing work I found, like, you know how you just said in the last 2 months you've been shifting dramatically, and before that it wasn't dramatic. It's like emotional damage is like peeling back. Yeah. And like it feels like I've done the same in the last 2 months. But since that, I've been able to join the dots and see behind the veil so much more. And it's like this like bit of a push forward, a propulsion forward. Yeah.
Yes. I think everybody's getting their own heightened like activations for this, like that's one of your things, right? And for me, my channeling information, oh my gosh, you know, it's just
it's like how would you know it? It's like so precise, the energy now.
Precise. Yeah, it is so precise. You know what? And they're now out. I'm so glad we're talking about this because they're showing us swimming in it. Like this is go time. Now I know what they're talking about because all these energies for 2022 have led up to this point. Okay. And they're talking about the stair steps now, but it wasn't like, it's now, it's more as we get into the 8/8s, 9/9s, October 10, 10, 10, 11, 11. They're not talking like there was I don't know what this means. They're talking about it was a growth from January till like through. So like May 5th was not as big a deal. They're not.
Yes. Well, that was only halfway up the steps, right? So if we look at the 12 levels, maybe this year is a level game where we're going up in the levels. And as we proceed to the end of the year, it gets more, you know, the veil thins, we drop the density and it gets more, you know, for people that are clearing, it gets more intense, obviously, because they're purging and they're going to clean out.
Yes, exactly.
This is cool. So I think we should just start planting 144 around the internet and start activating that little tattoo that we've all got within us in our energy field. It looks like it's a tattoo in our aura field or our soul. It's like our blueprint. It's like something, isn't it?
Okay, they just said to me, they are all here. Okay, well, I mean, maybe this seems obvious.
We're all here.
The 144 is incarnated. Yep, that's what they just said. They're all here.
I just got leg chills.
Okay. The 144, they're all here. And they're in waves. It's okay. So what I'm going to say is what they're showing me is those alive now, like whether you're 5 years old or 10 or 90, and you were one of that, you're in these waves is what I'm getting. And there's those that are awake, wide awake, whatever age level you are, it doesn't matter. But if you're you're going through your journey, you're like that first, kind of that first wave. And then these others are coming up. And I was using age just to give an example of like even the little ones, those that are here now, I don't know. Are you getting? I mean, everyone's here is what I'm getting.
I'm getting.
I just heard they've all dropped.
Yeah,
They've all dropped in.
So also there's some kids that are there's a big wave of kids that are light workers, like Xavier. He's an old wise soul. He doesn't really want to go to school and be with the kids. He wants to be around us. It's really interesting. And, you know, it's like his wise soul is constantly telling me through a little boy, like these messages. It's really interesting.
Yep. I have a little more on the 144. Do you mind if I share? And,
go.
And tell me, you know, again, I just share what I get. If you get something else, you're like, no, that's not right.
Slow down, baby.
So what they're talking about is the 144 is the initial group, because of course we know eventually the whole collective is coming along, because we're magnetic, they're coming on. They're going to eventually wake up, whether it's in this incarnation or the next incarnation, or however that's going to play out. Remember, this is all just, you know, wave upon wave upon wave. But what I'm getting is the 144. Oh, they just said the 144 opens the door. The 144 opens the door.
I've got chills. Oh, and that would that matches the door that Pete went through in my visuals. So it's all aligning.
The 144 opens the door. They're showing this I want to call it a surge, but it's not like what you think. It's a very gentle. It's,
oh my God.
And then the magnetic pulls the others into the awakening journey, and then they join in the fold. They join in that next wave, and so they're coming in the next wave. You know, most of them are sitting out in the middle of the ocean right now, waiting for their wave. Right?
There's a door opening into the center for the 0 point energy that I'm seeing, for the planet activating. Oh, and I'm getting Egypt. Yeah, I'm seeing wild. Egypt. I'm seeing door opening. It's like popping and blasting open, because there's the active 144. There's something here.
There's something here, because it's also going back to that DNA activate. They're showing me that again, like the 144, you know, the lights.
And I'm seeing the steps again in the pyramid. The pyramid. There's a door in some sort of pyramid that's going to activate, because the light on the planet can push through.
Oh my God, is that the key? Okay, hold on.
That's the key.
Because, oh God, this is going to get into something totally different about the key to the okay, it's energetic, isn't it? The key is energetic, and it's a collective thing. It's not somebody a key or put their hand on it. It's
the 9 keys. There's 9 keys. Emerald tablets, right? There's something that
I don't know. Emerald tablets.
There's keys in the emerald tablets that Thoth talks about to unlock, to access the halls of Amenti. There's something. There's stairs and DNA activation, and it also mentions the souls and the children of light traveling through the passageway to activate the higher states. Yeah.
Yeah, this kind of links. Oh my God.
So 9th of the 9th, that date that I was getting, I wonder if this has got something to do with the 9 keys, activating, pushing out the doorway to come to the next stage, to potentially activate the crystalline grid and the 0 point energy.
Okay,
that's terror.
Interesting. Okay, that's interesting. You bring up the crystalline grid, because most people don't know I have my own channels that I do on my YouTube channel, and I get the grid all the time being recreated. Like that grid's different, crystalline grid, and they actually show a lot of gold in it for me, whatever. But yeah, okay, because this is a huge year. This is a huge year for this, is what I'm getting.
There's an equinox in September, isn't there? The 24th. I'm seeing that the 9th of the 9th is going to help activate the doorway with the 144, and then it's going to shift over the equinox. Is there an equinox in September?
Yeah. Because you're going to have, your spring. It's basically the autumnal equinox.
Opposite.
For us, it's our fall. It's your spring. So yes.
And then 10-10 I'm seeing is going to be where it's fully open, and I'm seeing all these, the way showers moving through it. It's like energy moving through this passageway, and we're going deeper into the earth and learning more about the earth and the consciousness. There's a deeper connection to something.
You know what I just got? Okay, so we haven't talked about is those who are awakening. Because remember, we're all in different stages. Some of us are kind of awakening and we're turning a blind eye to the awakening. And then we'll come back and then we won't. Or we're like not conscious yet fully of it, right? You know, that awful in between that some people get stuck in because of the whole ego thing and the constructs they just showed me. They're given the metaphor of, you know, when on stage, the old days, they bring the hook in, you know, the hook, and they yank them off stage.
Yeah.
This is what they're showing is like, if they're diddling around out there and they're not committed and they're turning a blind eye and they're living their old life, they're not making the decisions that are wise for them, that they know they need to make. Living in the, it's not going to be pretty, because what I'm getting is they're just getting yanked. Like
I'm getting the fat soul can't fit through the doorway because of all the ego in the gain of it.
Oh, that's a good metaphor. That's a good metaphor. Oh, because here's the thing. We all have to eventually go. And what they told me in the very beginning when I started channeling, and they say this on occasion, is we can either do this the easy way or we can do this the hard way. And for each individual, right?
Yeah.
We have choices. We can make this very difficult, but I'm going to tell you right now, every single person, and I'm not saying in this incarnation, but every single person is going to come along at one point or another. I mean, an easy way or a hard way. I mean, it's going to happen eventually.
There's 12 keys I've just got. There's not 9. It's a stage. On the 12th of the 12th, we're going to know more about the 12 keys. We're not, it's not showing me past this stage, but they're just.
So these months. Okay, so you're saying.
The months are lining. Yeah, the months are all lining up. Everything's aligning. The levels of this year with the months and the portals opening is a step forward up your stairwell into this activation of the earth.
Okay. Okay. This
numbers are key. The numbers are key in all of this.
Okay. I'm getting some sense. I want to see if I'm getting this correct. Is that it's, again, we talked about it being vibrational, energetic. It's like when we reach, okay, they keep like kind of each key will go off or will unlock as we reach a new vibration.
I can feel that
as a collective. Does that make sense to you? It's it's all until this session. I didn't know. I thought maybe somebody had to go stand at the pyramid and do something. But anyway, point is this is all vibrational and energetic. And so when we reach that vibration, okay, you know, what they're showing me is like, okay, they just said the walls of Jericho came tumbling down. Okay, now this is a metaphor because the vibration of the walls, the reason the walls fell down was the vibration of the sound. Okay, what they're talking about, they're giving that as a metaphor to our vibration, raising our vibration. The vibration is so high it unlocks.
Yes,
okay, it unlocks that door.
Yes, yes, and the ones that have done the work can fit through the doorway, right? That's
otherwise, guess what's going to happen? I mean, I know we keep using metaphors, but these are fantastic.
Yeah,
the overweight ego one that's not coming, you know, doing their work.
Not allowed.
You know what? Oh my God, they're gonna get pulled. They're gonna locked out and get hanging out there wanting in. Their higher self's gonna want in with the human.
So you know, in the pyramid, how they go through, certain people can open doorways, and there's all locked doorways. So it's not actually unlocking physically the doorway. It's about our vibration getting through.
Oh, that's how they did it.
Yes.
Oh, wait a minute. You know what they're bringing into me is they're bringing to me the example of Mount Shasta where people have been seen walking through walls. It's the same idea. It's a similar idea. So you're a vibrational match. You have to, because remember how you've said, you know, consciousness is the new currency, right? But this, which is also your vibration. It's your vibration. So your vibration.
The vibration is the key that unlocks the city.
Yes. And in this case, well, that vibration allows you to walk through a wall, you know.
And, you know, what's just dropping into me, the new world wealth system, the currency, It's actually based potentially on your compassion and love. And it's the DNA of the energy field that will allow you to pay to get through to certain levels and unlockings of the universe.
This is all how that's going to work. Yes, that's exactly it. And again, we go back to the consciousness, the vibration is the new currency. It's so totally true. And it's not like you're going to have certain currency to hand to somebody in vibration.
You still got your ego if you do.
Yeah, it's what you're radiating. So guess what? Everyone's going to want to be there too. It's and then not to be a Debbie Downer, but this also goes to help us understand as to why there's those forces out there that want to keep our vibration low, that want to like have us watching the news all the time, having duality, like two political systems to, fight over because you're going to pick one.
You know what?
Yeah, anything.
You can
yes, you can name a gazillion. Yes, exactly. You can name a gazillion things where now you see why that's, the collective's being held in that place, because guess what? When you have vibration as your currency, who doesn't want that? And then everybody has that opportunity.
Wow. Love it.
How does this help somebody that's a light worker now? What does this mean for them? Okay, so we talked about go time. We talked about activations, maybe what they're going to see or feel, and maybe we can get some of that information.
Yeah.
Let's just see here a second.
So maybe we start with, if you're watching this is your light worker, you're probably one of the 144,000.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm wondering? Well, we'll get into that. So what I'm getting first and foremost is heightened sensitivity. Is there the sense that people are going to have a heightened sensitivity? The thing is, they're also saying to me they just said, we're not going to repeat ourselves. We talked about, especially in like the information they bring me for my videos, is the self-care is paramount. They're talking about that. In other words, your habits, your, things like, drinking, smoking, all that, drugs, all those things, eating properly, exercise, like those things, we got to get that all in check, right? We don't have to be hard on ourselves, but self-care is the platform from which the rocket launches off from, and the rocket's us, right? So they always remind us of that, but they're talking about greater sensitivity, like to everything. I'm getting hearing too.
Yeah, I'm certainly feeling like the ears are ringing, the frequency's increasing, and I know that I'm entering a higher bandwidth, if that makes sense, a higher frequency radio station. And with back to your point with the drinking, I've noticed, we used to love a wine a couple of times a week, and now it's like, it's almost like I can't even do it. And it's like, I said to Pete, maybe we just have to have like a couple of wines, maybe just once on the weekend, as, like a little bit of leisure, but that's it, because we just functionally, our frequency just doesn't resonate with it anymore, because it's a low vibration, the drinking. And I mean, we only have a red wine or a light beer, not heavy spirits or anything like that, but we're noticing the energy amplifying our mood, our emotion, our fear. Like if we're going into it feeling a bit off and we haven't resolved an emotion, it's like fireworks, the feeling the next day, it's like really starting to amplify whatever is inside of us. It's triggering that.
Yes, I think what you're talking about is exactly where I've been. I've always loved my drinks on the weekends, typically. And 2-3 drinks a Friday, Saturday night. So I've had a real interesting journey with this, but to your point, without making it long, I have had, like 2022, I've hardly had any drinks at all. Now there's the part of me that goes, when I go out for dinner with a friend or something, I want nothing more than to have that big old beer and that margarita or whatever, because I love the moment of, and I'll admit it, I love the moment of the feeling of the having the drink. But what I have found just in the last like 2 months, I've only had like 1 drink in 2 months. But what I found the last time I finally defined it for myself, it was that this vibration that it brings you down into, yes, you get the kind of euphoria, but it brings you down to this vibration. You now notice it very, like for the next 3 days, like I notice I've been taken down to this level, and it takes a while for it to come out of your body in general.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what's happened to me. And it's just a natural thing where like the vibration you hold, you can't handle it. You don't even have a desire And so
That's
what I
right.
think is going to be, I'm at a stage where I think, and I never thought I'd say this, I don't know if I'll ever drink again.
Wow.
Because I don't like what happens to me now.
Yeah.
Next day and 2 days later. And it's not a hangover. That's not what I'm talking about. It's a vibrational shift.
Yeah, interesting, because what I find is it makes us unconscious to join the dots of consciousness. So, now we operate in flow where we see a sign which might marry or mirror a sign in meditation 2 days earlier, and we go, oh, yep, there's our sign. But when we're in that foggy state, and heavy metals in our system, it's not as clear cut, and I'm really, really loving consciousness and seeing everything for what it is and just fully seeing through the veil, being able to join the dots for people. We like walk this every day. We embody this every single day. And we're so sharp. We're so sharp.
Yep. They just said on point, being on point.
Yeah.
And so what that vibration of alcohol does, it takes you off point. So what you said is really important. It allows you, because they're showing you're able to more clearly see your connections, your signs, your messages, flow. They're talking about flow. Whereas you throw some alcohol in, and mind you, for me anymore, it's a drink. And then okay, they're showing like it's a film, like or a fog as a metaphor, a fog that kind of rolls in between those connections.
Yeah.
Because they're talking about clarity. They're talking about having that clarity of mind so that you can tap into the higher consciousness. Okay, that was all just their words there.
Well, beautiful, because it fogs up the neural pathways. It makes so much sense, doesn't it?
That makes sense.
It puts a film, like you were saying, over the neural pathways to think clearly. And it's just so interesting that it's been used as a tool on the earth up until this point when we're realizing what it really is doing. It's making us unconscious, right? And lower vibration.
Exactly. And not to keep talking about the alcohol part, because I want to get back to why alcohol came into it in the first place. But what I've noticed in the not drinking part of me for the last 2 months is when you all of a sudden don't drink, you start realizing how much there is out there about alcohol. And like everything's wonderful when you're having a drink. I mean, the ads, the commercials, all that. And I live in a big college town, a university town of 30,000 students. So it's really prevalent, but it's interesting how you all of a sudden notice the things you didn't notice before. But what I wanted to comment on, I wanted to get back to the thing that I said, maybe we could bring it down to the ground for what people can expect. So we got to the drinking part because of the emotional sensitivity, like heightened, they keep saying heightened sensitivity. We're going to start to see.
But it all serves its process. It's all stepping stones to awakening to your multidimensional self. So it's not a bad thing if you're listening to this, if you're drinking still, because we've leveraged and bridged this. It's just a calling that comes when you're elevated that little bit more. I mean, you don't need to push yourself and go through like the only person at the party not drinking and you really desire a drink. Go with the flow. And celebration is important too. I find celebrating you graduating your emotions is that, like, we've done that before. We're like, yes, graduate, that journey we just went on, or the emotions we've purged. But
and by no means is this oh God, I have to go stop drinking now, or I'm never going. That's not it. It'll, if it's meant to happen, it'll come naturally. But I'm getting very much heightened sensitivity in general for everybody with like the emotional state, the physical state, all of what we can start. Okay, they're talking about being not like an antenna. They're showing a oh gosh, I have sometimes hard times explaining what they're showing me. Tuning fork, they just said.
They
always give me all these different, like a tuning fork, we're like a tuning fork is what they're talking about. We're starting to tune in very vibrationally, sensitively, and very specifically to, they're talking to the higher energies.
What I'm seeing is a root coming out of the ground, erupting, and it's like the emotion of the root cause of the emotion naturally wanting to disembark the earth's crust and come out and dissolve, neutralize, and transmute. For all light workers. So it's naturally the earth is pushing out the density, the root cause emotion out of the beings.
Okay. And so how will that affect us as humans. Did you just say that?
What I'm seeing is then the light energy can come down and fertilize the soil, which is the soul, the heart, to grow new crop, which is
yeah. Oh, because like they said, it's go time. Okay, now they're showing me, since you brought up growing and crop, they're showing this, the seedling coming out of the ground per your reference of coming up out of the ground of the roots.
That's what I feel like we all are across the world, like little shoots of seedlings.
You know why? Because here's what they're saying. That is the metaphor that ties to the new earth. So growth is, it's not the seed in the ground anymore. Okay, it's not the caterpillar in the cocoon anymore. It's the butterfly that's the wings are starting to show up and starting to fly. And I'm talking in general collection. But it's that sprout. They're showing the sprout coming up, and guess what? We're no longer underground. We're growing.
Yes. So we're not the caterpillar anymore. We've all graduated through that. If you're listening to this, you're a light worker, right? A light worker back for the mission, coming back. You feel different, maybe a black sheep of your family the whole lifetime, maybe not whole. And this light worker mission, we're here to amplify the frequency on the planet, but we had to do it all individually. So we're moving from caterpillar to butterflies flying, and the new crops growing for the new 5D Terra Earth, which is the 12 strand of DNA that's flicking online. Amazing.
Exactly. And that's so cool, because I'm seeing the flip, and the growth. And what they want everyone to understand is, again, it's kind of wave upon wave upon wave. So what they're saying with the gardening, I mean, we're not all just immediately this, right? There's still a wave, because we can't all come online at once, because we would blow the system up. Is what they're saying. So what they're showing, this is kind of cute. They're showing the metaphor of the seedlings growing, right? Growing to the point where they just said where they have their first bounty. Okay, so there's the harvest, not that kind of harvest, but the bounty, and then more growth comes. So that's the next wave of growth.
Because I'm seeing my garden, and we just planted lettuce, and I'm learning about how it grows up and where you pick it from, and the growth goes up. So it's like the waves of light workers turning on. It's not that anyone's ahead of each other. No. It's just the natural blooming of a garden, right? And the flower and nature, right?
Well, and if you think about, like, lettuce is a great one, where you get this beautiful head. If you don't cut the whole head off, you can cut individual leaves. They'll still grow. There'll be more growth.
Yes.
So that's what they're showing. And see, energetically, what they're saying is, they're talking about humankind couldn't handle it, but the earth itself could not handle everyone coming online at once. So it's got to be a gradual process. And they use a lot of technology when they do points of reference for me. And so it's like, if everything came online all at once, oh my gosh, that would be too much. It'd be a surge, is what they're saying. It'd be a surge. And then
it'd be too much for the unawakened, right? So it's a gradual process. Like us, if we got dumped in 5D frequency, we'd all be burnt out. Our circuit system would be burnt out. That's why the Schumann and the solar flares, they're coming off the sun periodically. They're not just blasting us. So it's a gradual process. Yeah.
Yes.
Go ahead. I was just going to say, the 144 warriors that have come down for the mission have a ripple effect on 1,000 souls at a time. So you don't need to just do anything. If you're looking at this like, how can I help? You just need to human being, just be, and let the energy do the work. When we're operating in this high frequency, we're not heavy lifting the weights, right? We're just flowing and being human being. It's good, because it amplifies your neighbors, the people, that anyone that you walk around, it's just like sprinkling energy, fertilizing their sprouts, right?
And what they've, per your point, what they bring to me as a metaphor often is, they say, as a group, light workers, we're magnetic to the rest of the collective. They were explaining this once, is how I was like, how's this going to work? You hear about the 100th monkey, all of that, but they said, no, it's more magnetic. As you continue to, as that group of light workers continues to grow in frequency, vibration, guess what? We're all one. We're pulling them along. It's all magnetic, is what they're saying. We pull it's just like we're like a big magnet. And so they start moving forward in their journey little by little, even though we know right now it doesn't even look like that, right? But it is happening, because so many of us know people who all of a sudden is like, oh my gosh, there's so many people waking up that I know.
Yeah, it's so beautiful, isn't it? And
Mhm.
you know, I don't know about you, but we're really locking in some good conscious friends now. Like they're real stable. They're on our
Yep.
frequency. We're like
Yep.
helping each other, connecting, wanting to check in how they're going because they're
Yes.
about the information that we're about. It's like this desire to connect with you. It's like that really before it was kind of like you want to be alone. You want to
Yeah.
like just be through in the dark night of the soul by yourself, suffering and thinking, what am I doing here? And all of those emotions.
Yes.
And the
Yes.
butterfly now is coming out. And I
It
remember
is.
back in the day, it's like I always wanted to be a social butterfly. And I was wondering what this meant. And I'm just getting the knowing now that it's the butterfly coming out and finding all the other butterflies, you know?
No, no, that's a really good point. So it makes so much sense because we have that phase of the awakening journey where, and again, everybody has it at different times, but where we're insular and we're in the cocoon. But to your point, I have recently, and this is a lot for me, I'm like, oh my gosh, I really want to get out among people more. I want to really, I'm
Yeah.
trying to find, and I don't mean just to, day to day necessarily to work with kind of thing, but I'm talking about like also to be around, to affect, to just be more with other people because I'm on my own. And so what I've been doing, I've been just really wanting to bike a lot in towns and cities and around and like get to festivals and things. And I just go but I think we're finding all in our own way that we start gradually coming out of that quiet time and we want more. We want
Yes.
more interactions because it's time for some of us to
Yeah.
have that happen.
Well, because I think we've gotten past that threshold, right, of the purging the emotions, and
Yes.
our energy centers are all starting to really align and empty out and fill with
Yes.
light from the obviously the galactic and the solar flares. What we're finding now is we're trying to find the light again, because as we ascend up, we're finding our soul family, star family, and then our oversoul family, and we're looking for unity and togetherness. So it would be the natural progression of a soul to want to desire to find light, and like a moth to the light, we go find the light together and we all come back together like we were before we incarnated. You know how I said at the start there was a big army of all of
Yes.
us together. It's like we're going to
Yes.
rejoice in that again. There's a beginning and an end to
Exactly.
this in a way.
And, yes, and what they've shown me for quite some time is that idea of as you go through the awakening journey, it's the inner journey. We have to go through the inner first, okay, before we can come together as one in the outer. So it's coming back into self, okay, because we've all been externalized for so long, right, through belief systems, constructs, institutions, all of that, right? The way we live. So we're coming back into ourselves. We do that work, and then guess what? We're ready to come back out, right? And then eventually we are becoming that oneness because of that inner individual work, because now you're more whole, and now you can join into the oneness. And I think that's what we're seeing with the desire to kind of find your tribe, get out more, that kind of thing.
So there's really a level, a stepping stone, you know, to this awakening. Really, like you wake up, you get activated by the word light worker. Maybe you feel different, like you don't belong here, and you go and find the healing, the breath work, the one-on-one sessions or whatever you desire to do to really sort out your trauma from your childhood and figure out who you are, what soul you are, where you've come from, what your past lives are, and maybe you think that there is more than just this planet. They're all clues that you're a light worker. So that desire, that moving forward. Yeah. And then we move into the healing phase, and then we start to open up like the butterfly. So there's the stages of the awakening really for a light worker, and realizing that we are all one. We have to do it together. We can't do it separate like the old programming of the planet, right? We have to come together, and we have to realize that we're all one. We are source. You're source, I'm source. So why would we want to hurt source, right? And we have to forgive everything that's played out on the planet.
Yes.
All of the programming, the matrix, the elites, it's all, everyone's playing a role on the big stage, aren't they? We have to look at it with forgiveness.
Exactly, because what some might call the dark side, they're actually here to show to show the light. In other words, you wouldn't see the light if you didn't have the dark, kind of thing, right? Like those that kind of what we're seeing in our world today. So they have to play that role to be able to kind of, in many ways, reflect. They keep saying, like, to be able to reflect
Yeah.
So that we can choose the higher calling, that we can choose to grow a new earth that is one that is different from what we're currently living in. And the only way we can do that, we have to have both, because we would never make any progress if we were just in the light all the time.
So let's move into some gifts and abilities that might be switching on for some people, for people that are at this level, like the butterfly, and starting to really get their gifts turning on towards the end of the year. Because I'm getting telepathic communication's going to be heating up. Like everyone's going to be on the same Wi-Fi system.
That's interesting you're saying that, because I'm actually, that's kind of starting now with a few people I know. And so you know what they just called it? They just called it a reconnection. Because we
feel that.
That's how we used to be able to.
Yeah.
Days of old. That's how we. And so the thoughts are things. Thing is even more important. Okay, that's okay. What they're saying, and this ties with all my channels I've done. God, this you brought this up. That's how manifestation is going to happen faster too. That ties to manifestation too, right? So the thoughts are things, the telepathy, all of that, being able to create out of our thoughts and telepathically connect with others they're talking in a more efficient way, not like I think it feels like it's going to be really clear for some people.
Anything. It's coming for us. Like, you know, I was going to the hairdresser and I thought, oh, it'd be so good if I could go at 1, and I was booked for 1:30, and I just put it out there. 10 minutes later, I got a message from the hairdresser saying, hey, can you come at 1? And I was like, you beauty. Yes. Like I didn't even need to use my force and ring and carry on, you know, it just happens. So everything's moving out of the way for us to be in alignment when we need to.
Because we're out of, because the other part of this is, you know, moving into these Aquarian age energies, galactically speaking, right? That's where we are. That's the kind of energy we're in, of being able to do what you just did, right?
Yeah.
To shift and change, to heal, to also physically heal too. I have a few stories, I'm not going to share them now, with that very much quick, like taking care of little healing issues that people are having. So these things are going to happen more rapidly, because we're in the energy to allow for that. And as we've done our work, we're doing our work, we're leaning into this journey, it's going to happen. We're going to manifest. They keep talking about manifest faster.
Yeah. And
that's why thoughts or things are important. You know, the energy behind the thoughts, we have to be aware. Like if you keep thinking about the negative and the half glass full, guess who's going to manifest more half glass full?
Exactly. And it's happening with the emotions too. So the divine
half glass empty. I meant half glass empty. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
half glass empty. Yeah, sorry. Half glass full's the good, half glass empty. Sorry.
That's good. So what I'm seeing as well, the manifestation of the emotional purging is happening very fast too. So an emotion, a trigger will present in your life as a light worker, and nothing is a coincidence. We've got to look at everything that's showing up in our life and go, okay, why is this happening? And go in and see why we would be getting triggered. If it's a negative, obviously, it's happening to remove an emotion from within us. It's reacting. If you're reacting to the situation, it's reacting a movie, an emotion that's occurred in our childhood, to purge out, to empty that glass to make it full.
Yes, exactly. And that can also come from past lives, believe it or not. Those emotions, a lot of that though does come from the inner child of the current incarnation. But just remember, you might not even be able to identify what it is. I think the biggest thing with the emotional part of it, don't ignore it. Go sit with it. Try to understand it. What is it trying to tell you? You might not be able to tie it all the way back to a thing, but if it's trying to tell you something, or it is trying to tell you something, so at least go sit with that. One thing I will say is we also physically clear through illness, through aches and pains, through odd injuries. You're not always going to be able to tie that back. But what I have found in a lot of these things, like, I don't know, muscle pains, or like I've had a horrible stiff neck, just odd things that come up. lots of times these things come and go and they'll clear pretty quickly. So you kind of know you're clearing something when it comes and goes pretty fast.
Yeah, and just like with that, we had a few fevers through this year, and it's the purge of the cellular structure. Yes, we were down, and yes, we had to be down to be vulnerable, to purge out some things that we didn't want to look at. So whatever's happening in your world, it's happening for your greatest and highest good, because the divine wants you to elevate. So with fevers, it's heat being released out of the cells, right? And it's old density from lifetimes and lifetimes of pain and suffering. Remember, we've come from third density, which is low vibration. We've all had this in our past timelines of bad stuff happening to us and pain and suffering. And so what the cellular system is doing is releasing the heat, the pain, the heat, the anger, the fire in the cells, releasing it and getting it out. And that's through a purge of having a fever, being sick. And all you need to do, if you want to know, hey, what is this if I need to know, it'll drop in if you say, show me, teach me, guide me. Ask your higher self, ask your soul, show me, teach me, guide me. Normally, the information will pop in for you, right? Have you noticed that, Carolyn?
Yes. I totally agree. You'll have some kind of knowing, feeling, and don't doubt it. Whatever comes, feel into it. One thing I want to add too is they've talked a lot about tears, and you're talking about clearing and tears. What they've said is that and no wonder we aren't taught that we should cry, but we should cry when we feel like we want to cry, because it clears cellular memory, is what they told me. It's the crystalline part of the tears that clears, like it's a cleansing. And so tears are here to help us clear out the same kinds of things we do when we are, sick and purging and all that. We have a body that knows how to do this, but how often have we been taught, particularly men, mostly men, not to cry, right? Oh no, that's a clearing mechanism.
Is it the same with snot and phlegm?
What?
Would it be the same with snot and phlegm when you've got the cold? When you've got a cold, I wonder if it will be like that purge.
I don't know, but I know with sneezing, and I take these huge deep breaths. We clear through our breathing and our breath work too. And so that happens to me when I work with clients. But some people I will have huge deep breaths, and it's a different kind of deep breath when I'm clearing for myself. So you kind of got to learn your own method.
So this is cool. So I think we should just start planting 144 around the internet and start activating that little tattoo that we've all got.
Okay, there's your video for today. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you want to work with me or even just check out my services, purplerainhealing.com, where I offer all kinds of channeled services. I either work with you one-on-one via Zoom or on the phone, or we can do channeled information for you, where I just send you an audio file of 50 minutes of channeled information based off of your journey and the questions that you have. I also offer distance energy healing as well, and one-on-one mentoring, where I work with you regularly to help you unfold the story of your journey, past, present, future, as well as offering you channeled information on situations and questions that come up in your journey. So it's a great way to get a discounted session as well by regularly working with me and receiving channeled information on your journey. I cover all kinds of topics. I'm even working with people on helping them build their online business. So check out purplerainhealing.com. I would love to work with you, as I have worked with so many of you already, and I so appreciate you being here today. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you in the next video.